Roundabout cast where
Hey!
if I don't record with the AC today, I will die. So I'm gonna sacrifice podcast quality for my own health. I'm your host, Willer.
Oh shit, we're doing this now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm Bradley. No, I'm Bradley Z. I'm the Japan reboot of the beloved Cartoon Network show Bradley that no one asked for.
My name's Joe, and I had a really good 999 joke before this, but I completely forgot what it was.
Bummer.
Oh, sad.
It was a good meme. It was something about methodological fields or something, whatever they're called, morphologic field.
They're morphogenetic.
I'm Tyler, and I'm reminding you that if you remove your blood at home, make sure you put it in the freezer on a separate shelf from your edible red meats.
He's right, you know.
Removing your own blood? Why would you do
Yeah.
whatever? Because when you started that advice, I was like, okay, it's joke advice. But by the time you ended that advice, you kind of convinced me that it might be real. So,
I know. I was like, if I don't know why I would remove my blood, but if I were gonna remove my blood, that would probably be good advice. So
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, did he actually do this?
I'm so upset. I don't remember what my joke was, but I remember laughing to myself about it in the shower.
yeah. Welcome to the free talk portion of podcast 41, where we catch up. Tyler, okay, worm spoilers right off the bat for anyone listening. For the Web Serial Worm, Tyler is just about to start Arc 30, and he had some guesses, and I just wanted to throw these into the podcast. You have, Tyler, you have like 30 seconds for your guess. Go.
Yeah. So if you don't want to hear spoilers, skip ahead 30.
By roughly 45.
Yeah,
100 minutes.
Either two things are going to happen. One, Taylor's about to die, and this was like Willer's happiest day of his life.
I don't hit her that
Or
much.
two, she's going to get her deregulator gone, and she's got like the other power. Like if Contessa had Scion's power, then Taylor had like the other being's power, and she's gonna like start to be able to control people like she controlled her bugs.
I followed some
Two
of
very
that.
different guesses, but pretty wild guesses.
Pretty wild. Which
I don't know
are
what's gonna
fitting
happen.
for Mr. Wild Bow.
I
Okay,
painted it too.
welcome back, all you worm fans, or worm spoiler jumpers. Joe, what have you
Jumpers.
been up to?
Well, so during the past week, Far Cry 6 was officially announced. It's going to be starring Giancarlo.
Giancarlo Esposito of Breaking
yes.
Bad and Better Call Saul fame.
That's all. So that gets me excited. I like the Far Cry games. I like the Far Cry games. So I started playing Far Cry 4 again. And then I came to realization that I'm the only person in the world that actually liked Far Cry 5's mission system.
Yes, you are.
Literally, I think it's the best open world mission system with the exception of like one thing. It makes me really upset that people don't think the same way because I despise how everyone else does it. Speaking of which, Ghost of Tsushima came out literally 12 hours ago. Even less.
I heard it's pretty sick so far.
It's an incredibly pretty game with an incredibly frustrating combat and camera.
Really?
Oh
You think
fuck,
so?
really?
Yeah, so like you're incredibly fragile in the game. I'm playing on hard, so maybe I should jump down to normal. But I'm incredibly fragile. I feel like attacking doesn't, like when you get attacked, it doesn't feel like you're actually getting attacked, and like it's just, I don't know, it's incredibly difficult. The camera gets stuck behind trees and bushes, which really sucks when you have like 12 enemies surrounding around you.
Mm-hmm.
And you're really like free flowing in that game too. Like you're really like loose and everything.
How's the combat AI?
Poor.
It's good.
I can already tell.
It's really smart.
I've only done one section of the game, which is the tutorial, and there's this set piece where like 30 combatants go in, 15 on each side, and by the end there's only 2 people alive. And in that sequence, a guy I was watching, he just died. He just like falls down because like by the end there can only be 2. So I think they're programmed to just decay and die eventually, which is really funny.
Yeah. There's also a point where like I'm doing a mission, you have to invade this fort, and it's like a bow-based mission. So you're like, oh, so you use the bow to like set off traps or whatever. So I shoot the bow. I'm like, all right, I think I got everything that's gonna hinder me walking into this base. So I'm gonna walk in now, and then dudes just spawn behind the building and come out and start shooting you. I'm like, oh, great. That kind of defeats the point of a stealth-based like thing where you go in and take out people in the fort. But whatever. But I'm only in Act 1. I want to get further, and I want to see if they do something different or change something different. But I've also heard that it's very much like an open world game. So I'm like, whatever. But the game's like incredible looking.
I'm excited
like,
for that open world. Like that looks like the most exciting open world since Breath of the Wild. So
I think I am the most fun when I am just like running around and like exploring. Like I had to climb up like a mountain to get to a fire shrine to get a fire charm from a god, fire god's shrine or whatever. I had a duel with a bunch of lightning bolts shooting around me that was super cool looking, and I won a technique. The game isn't mythical by any chance. It's kind of like a weird like the reality of the myth. So like you learn like the side mission I was doing is you learn a lightning attack, quote unquote, but it's really just a really quick attack that no one can block.
Is it like Edo era Japan?
I think so. I think it's just after the Sengoku Jidai, so after the Warring States, because you have war with Mongolia. I mean, I've just been getting really incredibly frustrated. I might drop it down to normal and see if I just fare better that way.
Oh yeah.
Because I like
we have too little time to fumble around with open world games that are hard to beat.
It's that being said, everyone go play Far Cry 5 and see how good the mission system is at, because it's actually how an open world game should be, which is you do whatever you want to progress the story.
That's your free talk. You're cut out.
Yeah,
you can come back on a later free talk. Bradley, what have you been up to? Not including Ooblets. That'll have.
So not including Ooblets, because we're gonna talk about that later. A friend and I have been casually replaying through Super Mario Sunshine the past few months because we both really like it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But here's the fucking thing, y'all. There's this shit that throughout my life I've never been able to do in Super Mario Sunshine until yesterday, and we were so fucking happy. Like, both of us, our entire lives, there's this one pipe in Super Mario Sunshine. We've always wondered what was in that fucking pipe, and we finally got through it yesterday. So here's the reason I was never able to get through the pipe when I was little, or even as an adult. So the pipe is on this island out in the middle of the ocean, and the top of the pipe is covered in this cheese-looking shit that you can only get rid of with Yoshi, right? Mm-hmm. So to get there, you have to be on a Yoshi. The problem is, it's on a fucking island in the ocean, and Yoshi disappears if he touches water. So you have to get Yoshi on. First, you have to jump Yoshi onto this boat. Then you have to ride Yoshi out to this island and do like a pretty long-reaching jump to get off the boat onto this one island. Then, once you're on that island, you're running out of juice in Yoshi, and if you run out of juice, Yoshi disappears. So you have to do this jump to get a coconut, fill your juice back up, jump off this island onto a different boat. Then you have to ride that boat out to this little tower in the middle of the ocean, jump onto that tower, eat another fruit so you don't run out of juice, and then jump onto this other boat before it disappears, ride that to the island with the pipe, jump onto the island, spray the pipe. And it took me 24 years to accomplish this feat. Whenever we, like, basically every time we got together to play this game, we'd give it about 20 tries, and then we'd be like, fuck this, let's go actually play the real game.
But you didn't.
And then yesterday we fucking accomplished it, and like we were both sitting there on our couch, and we're like, oh my god, we're finally about to go in the pipe. We're finally going to find out what's in there. And then we went into the pipe, and here's the thing. After all that trouble, you'd think they would just like fucking give you the star, right?
Nah.
No, it's actually the hardest fucking level in the game inside that pipe. And we lost once, lost our only life, and we went back to the hub world, and we're like, oh, well, I'm never doing that shit again.
You didn't beat it? Oh my god. Is the hardness because of timing? Like you can only have the fruit buffs for so long?
Yeah, it's like a combination of the boats are really hard to land on, and if you fall off, you fall in the water, and it's a hassle to go get another Yoshi and all this shit. But
yeah, it sounds like a pain in the ass do.
The thing
Is it
is,
the level where you have to like push the leaf through the water?
it's the one where you got to push the leaf through the water.
Oh, that one.
And I don't know. So we're not gonna beat that level. What was important to us is after
made
all
it.
these years, we finally got into the fucking pipe.
I think
That's the real star.
No,
That's beating the game to me.
No, you gotta beat that level. I'm gonna bully you into doing it.
Fuck that shit.
Yeah.
I don't have anything for free talk. So let's just swing into the podcast section because
damn.
We didn't put something on this list that we were gonna put. Oh no, we're saving it for next week. Never mind.
No, I want to talk about it still.
Kaiji.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, dude, put Kaiji on there.
All right, we'll do it last.
Because I guess without Kaiji, there's only 4 things.
No, I'll do spoiler free.
No.
I just want to talk about my
We
experience.
can do the rare Willer spoiler section where I step out for like 15 minutes and then y'all text me. We've done that a couple of times.
No,
I'm not-
Joe
I
hasn't
haven't-
finished it either.
I haven't finished the anime either.
Oh.
So I want to do spoiler free and just talk about my experience with it.
Yeah, so Tyler's the most advanced Kaiji guy.
Yeah,
Which is
because it's
funny.
anime, which is what I watch.
Yeah.
And
it's a manga too, which is what I do.
Yeah, I know. But
I
so
do both.
God, all right.
Okay, we'll do it now. Kaiji
Yeah,
starts
We'll
like-
do it live. We'll do it live.
It'll be really short, hopefully. But man, okay, so y'all showed me Kaiji like what, a year ago? We were like sitting at Bradley's apartment.
Yeah, we were at my place.
Say we
And I watched a couple episodes. We watched a couple episodes, and I was like, "All right, I get this, you know." And like the very beginning has like the slow start because they're doing like the paper rock scissors, and y'all have seen that bit.
yes.
Yeah, the first 2 episodes are like incredibly slow because like literally nothing happens. Like not even like a weird game on the side. It's just like Kaiji's in debt. What's he gonna do?
I feel really bad for this character the entire time, and then I realized like, oh, it is his fault. But then it's like, oh, I feel bad for him again.
The thing with Kaiji is, and this is what I love about him, he is going through the worst kind of scenarios, and I feel like a crueler writer would have Kaiji turn on his ideals and turn on his kindness, but he holds his humanity as far as I've been, which is really important to me because like Kaiji could turn into this asshole where you like betray someone to get ahead in one of these horrible situations he's in, but so far he never really has. I appreciate that.
So I've only seen, how many seasons are there in Breaking Bad?
5.
5. So I've seen season 4, the lull season that's hard to get through.
No, season 4 is amazing.
Every single episode was fucking fire to me, dog.
This season you talking about doesn't exist. Like maybe
There's a lull, and it's after he like goes into the laundromat.
that's like 3 episodes in season 3 where he just starts the laundromat, and
It's after It's after Jesse goes to Mexico, and
that's
the
season
chicken guy
5.
dies.
Like Jesse goes to Mexico in season 4, episode 9. So
Oh yeah, I've been that far.
okay, cool.
I don't know why, but anyway, Breaking Bad really it drew me in, and I never finished it, but it drew me in, and I felt suspense for Walter the entire time. It was a very good thriller show, and it's, as Willer says, one of the best shows ever. That same anxiety and like sense of thrill and dread I felt from the situation that Walter was in, I felt that throughout Kaiji the entire time.
No, Kaiji's even worse. As far as stress goes, Kaiji's fucking nuts, dude.
I felt
Yeah.
I would go to work, I would work all day, deal with problems, and then I'm like, oh, I could watch some Kaiji. And it's like, no, that's just additional anxiety and stress onto my day.
I recall you saying, why would anyone do that? And then you continue to binge it because it's so good.
I couldn't stop.
Oh, man.
I remember when we were at my place, and like even in like the first episode, this character during the rock paper scissors did this thing, and I just like yelled "fuck you" at the TV screen, and it was really visceral, and I was like, God damn, like
I have seldom, if ever, seen Bradley so angry at a video game character. Or sorry, an anime character.
yeah. I was like, fuck this guy. and it only gets worse from there.
It
Oh
gets worse.
my god! I know.
The stakes get higher and higher, and the corruption runs deeper and deeper.
Let me tell you. Let me tell you how far I've gotten, and you can judge how far I am in anime. I read about 100 chapters in no shit like a day. Like I consumed those chapters. I went ham. That was a fun time. I started like on a Friday night, and then roughly by that Saturday night or Sunday, I was like 100 chapters in, I think.
I did that with Tower of God, so I feel it.
Anime or manga be good. I'm at where Kaiji is dueling the not the president. Maybe
His Todogawa.
Todogawa.
Yeah, Todogawa.
He's dueling Todogawa in the Emperor game, and they just put
E-card.
They just put the year device on Kaiji, and I was like, I need to take a break. And then 6 months passed.
That's a good arc. Like, well, they're all good. It's
So you did the bridge crossing game.
Dude, I couldn't do the bridge crossing into year stuff. Like, that was too much. I was so anxious for the bridge crossing, and the show the manga goes there. Like, people fucking died.
Yeah.
God.
So it's not even okay. So there's two parts of the bridge crossing. All right. There's the part where they had the floor underneath, and they're like, yeah, that was for the dregs of the rich people, you know? That's just for their entertainment. And it's like, you fall 3 stories and you just break half of your body.
It's like, gee, that's dark.
Yeah. And then it's like, they're like, yeah, like, to win the bridge game, you have to push people off in front of you. Yeah. And it's like, that's the way it's set up. And people realize that, and the second part, they're like, yeah, we don't want anybody to grab it, because, you know, you are going to die on this one, so if you try and touch it, we've also electrified the bridge, so fuck you. And I'm just like,
why?
Oh.
And then the solution to that is so fucking cruel. You have to fucking jump an invisible platform. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's some Destiny / Super Mario 64 platforming shit.
Yeah, it really was. Good series.
Kaiji good.
As you recall, I put Kaiji in the S tier in our tier list video. How you feel about that, Tyler?
I feel like it's a good A. I still stand by my S's are for everybody. Kaiji is not for everybody.
Everyone feels stress.
It is. Yeah. It is good.
What's crazy about Kaiji is that that first season only has 3 arcs in them, like in it, but like they're so long. Like it feels so long, but feels so short at the same time. Like it's anxiety, right?
I'm really happy that there's a second season of the anime, because I needed more, but I needed just enough. And like that second season, I think it's only like 50 episodes total, which, you know, I'm like, that's how many episodes there are of like Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Yeah.
I'm like, and I think that's how many episodes there are going to be of Attack on Titan. I'm like, that is the perfect run length for an anime. Assassination Classroom, around 50 episodes. That's the perfect run length for an anime. Is just like just enough is that 50 point. And I know Kaiji has more manga as well. I would maybe read them someday, but they would essentially be non-canon to me. I'm like, hey, this was a well-rounded story, beginning, middle, climax, middle, like ending, like
climax.
Yeah, like I had a great amount of content that came with just watching the anime, so I would be content with that forever. Well, but yeah, it was great. I can't wait to talk about it. The end of season 1 and season 2.
Yeah, I made a vow to do Kaiji. Well, I also have to do Act H. I have time this week, so I can actually do one of those. And then you both have to walk on a bridge to decide which one it is.
Oh God!
All right.
I will admit there were parts of Kaiji I was just right arrowing through, and I'm just like, I need to experience this quicker.
Yeah, the manga is a really good experience because the pacing is perfect in the manga. That's why I was able to do so much. I think in such a short go. But all right, let's take a quick break.
Probably less to talk about.
We're doing fucking Ooblets?
We're doing Ooblets,
Yeah.
Bradley, and this is nice. You talked to us a little bit yesterday, and then I put a pause on it because I wanted to save something for the podcast. But ever since then, you've played even more. You have more thoughts.
Yeah, I went to my friend's house yesterday. We played Ooblets almost all day long, and then I got home, bought it myself, and I played it till about 4:30 a.m.
Wait, are we recording?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and y'all, I fucking love Ooblets. So, a lot of people have said, I think even the devs have said it's like a mixture of Harvest Moon and Pokemon. I probably peg it as like 75% Harvest Moon and like 25% Pokemon. It plays a lot like classic Harvest Moon as far as like the stuff you do farm work wise, and like you harvest your crops, you sell them and shit, and then there's like the Animal Crossing, like you can decorate your house, wallpaper, move your furniture around, shit like that. And then there's also all these cute little Ooblet creatures, and that are just better than Tim-Tims, because Tim-Tims try too hard to be Pokemon, and these are very much their own things.
I think
IMO.
to that conclusion. Yeah, Fish is great. Yeah, Bradley posted some of the Ooblets, and it's like Temtem ended up feeling a bit like Fakemon, which I never like. But Ooblets is just like, we're gonna make Moe Blob cute creatures, and like really overemphasize the cuteness almost to like a breaking point, and that's a different route that I.
It's just it's really strange because like I was excited for Tim, but once I started playing it, maybe like 1 out of 8 Tim, I would be like, yeah, sure, I'll catch it. But the thing is, I boot up Ooblets and like I want to fucking catch them all. And what's really cool is you are heavily incentivized to catch them all. Where like I've always been sad, like in Pokemon, you complete your decks and they just give you a fucking certificate, like, hey, you did it. Mm-hmm. This, like each Ooblet you get, and additionally each variation of each Ooblet you get, because each Ooblet has like 3 variations. You get good, like really good rewards for it.
What do you get? What kind of rewards do you get?
So I'm very glad. Like most of the time, you'll get gummies, which you use for like everything. And yeah, I thought it said cummies the first time.
I was watching Bradley's stream. I was like, Bradley, did you just get cummies?
Oh yeah. As far as like the battling, so the Ooblets do dance battles, and I think the most I've done is like a 5-on-5, and so it's really cool when you initially basically to win. You spin beats to do dance moves, and you get points, and you're supposed to get your points to a certain amount, like 20 points or whatever. And whenever you first start the game out, most of your moves are just like gain 3 points, and I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever. Like not a lot of depth here. But it turns out those are just the equivalents of like Scratch and Tackle and Pokemon.
Right.
As I've gone on, there's some really cool fucking moves. Like there's this shit called Trepidation, where like you put dummy cards in your opponent's hand that don't do anything, which like take up their hand. And then there's like warm-up moves that are really, really good, but they take time. So like one of the Ooblets, his thing is like, I think his strongest move is like, if he goes 3 turns uninterrupted, you will steal 15 points from your opponent. But then you can counter it with this one Ooblet who can stun like other Ooblets. And it's really cool. Like the first time I got my ass kicked, I was really surprised because like, so here's the thing. Let's say there's this one Ooblet and I was going up against a team of 5 of them. And the thing is, their whole gimmick is they try to prevent you from playing cards. They'll like take away your beats so you can't play any cards, or they'll put dummy cards in your hand. And that's all their special moves. But like, because that's the only special moves they had, they couldn't really earn a ton of points themselves. So like once I was through all their status effects, I was slowly able to catch up. And I don't know, I've been enjoying the battling now that like I actually have moves. But as for like the rest of the game, super in love with the aesthetic. Much like Harvest Moon, there's like the friendship system. You can't get married because the devs said that doesn't really fit with their vibe of the game. But like you repair a friendship sticker machine, and once you do that, you can start like upping your friendship meter with people.
Giving them stickers. Like
Yeah, and there's a lot to do in this game, guys. Like each in-game day, I feel like there's like 2 or 3 new things that are unlocked. Like, hey, a new area. Hey, a new building. Hey, a new mechanic. And I'm like, holy shit! Like, this is an early access game, but it doesn't feel like an early access game to me.
This seems
like it just feels like
this seems like it has its own identity, because you were talking about that battle system. I was like, the only thing Pokemon about this at all is the fact you're collecting.
Yeah, like that's pretty much it. Is that
it
you're
feels
collecting.
more like a card game, and then
the battle play kind of like a card game.
Yeah, the Harvest Moon portion seems pretty distinct as well.
And so far I love pretty much all the characters in it. Like you get to the island and a lot of the characters are just like they're like very like cutesy, happy-go-lucky, because that's a lot of the aesthetic of the game. And then there's like one character on the island who's a fucking asshole, and it's funny because he's the cutest character on the island. His name's Taffy, but like I went up and talked to him and he's just like, yeah, no, not feeling it, bye. And then there's this one fucking dude in the town square. He's there every day and he looks like he has like this thick beard and he has a stick, and every day he's poking this giant pile of cans. And he's like, yeah, I don't know. There's like so I don't know. There's a bunch of cans in the town square. You should pick them up. So you pick them up, right? And then the next day, you go back and there's another fucking pile of cans. He's like, yeah, man, I don't know. Someone put a bunch of cans here, and you pick them up. And the next day, he's like, yeah, the can. And like you'll talk to other people around the town. It's like, where the fuck are these cans coming from? And like even the people who aren't like the main characters that you have friendship meters with, there's also just like more generic NPCs, but I find myself talking to them just because I like their dialogue. Like I was going down to the dock to do some fishing, and there was this girl like kicking her legs on the dock, and I talked to her. She's like, pro tip, extensive traveling is a good substitute for a personality. And I don't know, like all the NPCs say funny shit to me, so
it feels like pretty millennial humor.
Like it's as soon as this podcast is over, I'm going to be playing Ooblets. I highly recommend it.
Nice. I might check this out. The problem is, it'll never come out to Switch. At least that seems to be the current goal. And this feels like a really good Switch game.
I was looking at their frequently asked questions on their website. They said they haven't ruled it out, but I think it's a timed exclusive for Windows and Xbox.
I could wait. It'll be out of early access by then, surely. So it'll have more features. That might be good.
Yeah.
I wonder what Temtem's like this day. I don't think anyone knows on the planet. No one talks.
Oh, I'm muted.
No one talks about it.
I think I saw an article on Ooblets like way back when, and they were originally going to be on Switch, but then they got the exclusivity deal with Microsoft or whatever.
Gotta get that bag. And then they had that like really bad tweet where they're like, "Well, fuck you guys." Like they had a really that's who that was. That's interesting.
Yeah.
They had a really
Anyways, go buy Ooblets.
Yeah.
Go everybody buy Toriko.
No.
Unless that tweet rubbed you off way back when. Yeah, this game's been in development for a while. Cool. That's Ooblets. Cool. Let's talk about 999.
Okay.
So 999 is a puzzle visual novel by Spike Chunsoft. Spunk Chunsoft.
Otis Spunkmeyer cookies.
Spike Chunsoft's kind of the god at like weird games. They do a lot of visual novels, but they also just do a lot of Japanese games that don't really fit neatly into genres. This is the first game of the Zero Escape trilogy, and it was released for the DS back in 2011. So it's called 999. 9 persons, 9 doors.
9 hours.
9 hours, 9 persons, 9 doors. I think that's the order.
I think so.
Game has a really big boner for 9. And other.
I remember my joke. I remember what my joke was.
Well, do it,
my
darling.
My joke was My name's Joe. I'm not a 9. I'm a Q.
Okay. I can explain that to you in a second. It's fun. That is funny, Joe. I wish you remembered it as we started it because you would have gotten points.
I did too. Cut me in. Just
no editing. So this is a game where it is a story-based game where you're Junpei and you wake up on a sinking ship and you have to solve your way out of a escape room. And once you get out of that first escape room, you meet 8 other people, so you form 9 people, and you're put into a game where you have to find the 9th door and go through it. The way you go through doors is you have to make different groups within each person's... So everyone is numbered 1 through 9, and you have to make different groups that have the digital root of 9. Just don't worry about it. Basically, there's specific groups that can go through each door, and you have a couple of choices on who can and how you want to split those groups up. And that's where a lot of the tension comes through as you try to make your way through the ship within 9 hours, which is the in-game time limit.
Yeah. You don't have 9 hours to play the game. It's just...
Right.
Yeah. That'd be kind of silly, especially when you get to those in-game puzzles and you're like...
If those puzzles
what
were
the
timed,
fuck?
that game would be unplayable, I think.
Yeah.
They need to not be timed. So this is a game that I never played, but I watched a playthrough of in 2013, and I really liked that playthrough of it. But when you don't play a game like this, you're not making the decisions, and you're not going through the puzzles. You're not the one solving. So there's still a lot for you to gain. And I forget stories with times, and I like to revisit them. And I've been on a kick to revisit a lot of my favorite mystery genre games. And I saw this was on sale, so I bought it. And I was like, I think Joe and Bradley would enjoy different parts of this game. But I also was like, there is 0% chance I can sell them into buying this game and playing it by themselves. So I set up a
Which would be a
dastardly
correct
trap.
assumption.
Yes.
Yeah.
I set up a trap where I'm like, Bradley, come over, we're going to play a game. And I didn't tell him what game, and he just showed up.
Yeah, I was just like, fuck it, we're playing a game.
And to Bradley's credit, he was a very good sport about it. He was like, all right, whatever, let's do it, which was surprising.
And it ended up being fucking awesome.
Yeah, Bradley ended up really liking it. We played it over,
3 days?
5...
I
No, it took... It's during... It took us maybe a week, and we met up 4 times, maybe 5 times. In that
We met up 9 times for 9 hours for 9 games.
And we played it together. And, something that... So, Joe ended up not liking this game very much. He didn't hate it.
I didn't hate it, but
we
like
span
Bradley
if Joe gives it a 3 and I'd give it a 4 and Bradley gives it a 5, so we have a
Oh yeah, I give it a 5, baby.
Yeah.
So that's your kind of spoiler-free recommendation of this game. I think anyone who likes mystery games, story-based games, or visual novels should give this a try.
I agree with Willer. I think the game is I think the game is unique and cute. I think for me, the characters and the story didn't resonate with me as much as compared to Phoenix Wright or something like that.
Yeah,
I just
the characters.
Whatever.
The characters is where I lose a point here. But I still like them, but I don't love any of them. But I think spoiler-free recommendation: give this a try. It's really cheap. It has a fantastic sequel that me and Bradley are going to start playing pretty soon.
Oh yeah, baby.
Is it 10-10-10?
No,
it's called Virtue's Last Reward.
Yeah. I'll probably end up playing that too once they get halfway through the game or something.
Yeah. Now Tyler has a look on his face that's like, how do you go from 999 to a game called Virtue's Last Reward? And
In all honesty, yes.
Yeah. No, you're super right.
Well, have you watched that one too, or did you only do 999?
I have watched Virtue's Last Reward, and I loved it so much that I'm very excited for. Bradley. Cool. I hope Bradley ends up liking this as much as I do.
Yeah, me too.
I think he'll enjoy it at the very least. And I think Joe would actually like the second one more.
I imagine if it's I imagine any game made by the guy who made 999 has to have writing I would enjoy. So, I hope so. I was just really down for what they were going for.
Let's get to the spoiler parts. The reason, so I thought Joe would like it because I feel like Joe likes a good mystery and he's tolerant for
I do
text-heavy adventure games because he's a Phoenix Wright boy like me.
Yeah, what appeals to me in Phoenix Wright is that you are given essentially a set of information before each court trial, and then you have to recall the information that you read, and then
it's puzzle solving in a way that only games that knock off Phoenix Wright do. Like, it's such a unique puzzle solving mechanic.
It's interesting because, like, when you're solving the puzzles, you're not there when you initially gain that information. If that makes sense, you have to take that information,
recontextualize the information later.
So
that's a little different than how 999 does it.
Yeah, 99 puzzles are based around it's an escape room. Everything you need is ever in that room, which isn't a knock on itself. Fun fact: I've never done an escape room. Period.
I love escape rooms. This game got me into escape rooms because like escape rooms don't really pop until like 2016 or whatever. So
yeah, and we'll never get to play them because of what's going on right now.
What do you mean? If we're all quarantined and we're all in that room together, it's fine.
That's true. But zero escape. So in the game, like it's basically just like you have to touch things on the screen to find other items and then use those items to connect them together.
No, so that's why I thought Joe would like it, and I thought Bradley would like it for the sci-fi edge that this game has, and how it really dives into really cool themes, and then kind of uses those themes to play with the genre of video games, and I think that hit Bradley pretty well.
Yeah, like I think throughout the whole thing, like I was just enjoying like
the story,
kind of the ride.
Yeah.
Like you guys said, like these aren't like god tier characters, but I enjoyed them. Like I enjoyed listening to them talk and shit and interact. But the shit that like put me over the edge and almost made me have a stroke on Willer's floor is when I understood, like whenever the moment you start the true ending of the game and you understand what they're actually going for, that's what did it for me, because I really like when a work plays into the particular medium that it's using.
Yeah.
Like, you know, hey, what's something I could only do because this is a visual novel?
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of what they did, and I just thought it was so cool how they did it.
Let's circle back to this. I want to talk about the facade of the game first of all, right? So you're introduced with this death game scenario where, like, if you break the rules or you don't make it in time, everyone there dies. So you have this natural tension that forms, and you meet these 9 characters, but one of them dies immediately. So really, the game is 899, and that's like left as a hanging mystery for a big chunk of the game. And what was your initial opinions on the 8 characters? Because at the end of the day, I don't love these characters because they're all kind of unlikable, but the credit I can give is that they're written with multiple sides, which makes you really flip-flop on your opinion on them at several points.
See, I just didn't like any of the characters because none of them just kind of really resonated with me, or I just didn't really care for any of them. Like, I didn't think like this person's a bad person, so I don't like them. It's just like I don't care, you know. There are small tidbits that you kind of learn about them that are interesting. Like, I feel like the 2 that I felt most closely connected to was 2 and 4.
Snake and Clover.
Yeah, Snake and Clover, because it's like, okay, I like that dynamic, and I like that Clover is going through something during all of this. It's really personal to her. Like that's the one, and then multiple endings involve her as well.
Yeah.
So that's the person that like I kind of resonated with. Forgot what the original question was.
Your initial opinions on the character. So Joe, and like, did that ever change? Because for Bradley, I know that his opinion on every character changed at least twice.
Yeah, so like exciting. Clover eventually grew into, once I went down routes that like involved her more. I was like, okay, this is a smart character that is going through something right now, so I can understand why she's acting this way.
Yeah, she has a good dramatic edge to the story for personal reasons, which I think is a fun way to do that. Like,
let's just go like through 1 through 9 or whatever you want to go with.
So So with Ace, Bradley. So Bradley, you tell your story about Ace.
Man, I used to think Ace was the best. Like the way Willer put it is like, man, for you it used to be God and it used to be heaven and it used to be Ace. Like,
Yeah,
there's
it's God on
I
heaven
think
and
what-
Ace on earth.
yeah, like Ace had always been kind of like very cool-headed and stuff. And then after he did his what we thought was a selfless sacrifice in the hospital room, I was like, yeah, dude. Ace is my fucking boy. And then we go into future rooms with him, and I'm like, yeah, dude, he's just so good at these
Ace is my fucking
puzzles.
boy. And then the first ending we get is coffin ending. Ace is still our fucking boy.
And then you find out the truth, and you're like, wow, fucking
Fuck
asshole,
Ace.
you betrayed me.
Yeah.
Because so the order that we went is coffin, and then we went down the safe route, and then
Okay.
we went down the submarine route, and then we went down the true end route.
Like,
See, I went the opposite, where I went submarine, safe, and then I had to do the true route because
That's
if you do the safe ending, you have to do it unlocks the true ending, which is the same as the coffin route.
yeah, interesting. That's what I like. You also have a very different experience in the order you go through things.
man, it's crazy. Like, I think Ace was the first character that I stated, I'm confident he's a good guy.
Yeah, I was happy and glee controlling that PS4 controller. I did a good job at not ever spoiling Bradley, despite knowing that he was making some outrageous claims. It was very fun.
His motivation at the end, I was like, okay, sure.
All right.
Whatever. All right, I get you.
Cool motivation,
I like that
still a murder.
I
Yeah.
like that our characters are kind of aware of that. He's trying to explain himself, and they're like,
All right, that's enough out
shut
of
the
you.
fuck up, and they just close the trunk on him.
That's great. I
Yeah,
remember
he's
that.
about to go on his spiel about like, no, but what I did was cool, and they're like, nah.
They're like, no, it wasn't okay.
So something that's not revealed in the game, it might have been revealed in an interview or some other knowledge that I came to find, is that Ace was actually in an original, like, pure death game for Gordane, the guy who brought the Gigantic. And then once he won that, he convinced Gordane to work with him on his own project. And then Gordane must have died of old age somewhere along that timeline.
Old Gordane.
So he was like, Death game's cool. I could make some kids get psychic powers from these.
Snake.
Snake is probably my favorite character. I love Snake. The weird part with Snake is there is very little ways where you can spend time with him unless you're playing the true ending.
Yeah.
Because he's just removed from the equation pretty early, and if you didn't go down door 5 with him, you don't even get to see him till the end of the game. So
Yeah, he was fascinating because so much about him is an enigma for most of the game, and even in most of the routes. Because, like, I think it's only in 1 or 2 routes, including the true ending, that you find out he didn't blow up.
yeah,
And so whenever you find out that body's not his, you're like, what the fuck?
yeah.
See, I thought from the beginning that it's like that's not him. Like I just for some reason something was off about that, and then
Does
you
play
go down
Phoenix
one
Wright,
route.
because they mentioned it's like, well, we can't confirm it, but it has his clothes. I was like, I smell some foul play when I see it.
And then they keep describing it. I'm like, there's something wrong here. Like, and then finally when you talk to Clover, she's like, he doesn't have
bone.
an arm. I was like, got it.
Got
All
it.
right, we're done here. Joe
I mean,
wins. Let's.
To be
Yeah.
fair, that is when it's revealed to you, like, you're not that special. Like,
Yeah, I know.
Um,
But like, I had a feeling that he just wasn't dead the entire time since that was introduced.
Santa. So Santa is kind of like, he's not
Weird.
really Zero, but like,
He kind of
for
is.
all intents and purposes, he kind of is like the antagonistic Zero of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bradley and I flip-flopped on Zero a bunch of times where it's like, you're cool, okay, you're annoying, okay, you're cool.
Yeah.
Why do you have a gun to my head now?
'Cause,
Yeah.
I think like for the very first room choice, I kind of went with him, one because I wanted to go with June, but also I was like, out of everybody, I was like, Santa seems kind of the most focused. I was like, he seems on top of shit. And then we actually get in the room, and I'm like, wow, he's kind of a fucking asshole.
But I like him. It's fun to have like an abrasive character
Yeah,
in the mix.
like at the end of the day, I really like him.
I really like his reaction when you choose door number 3. in that room.
That was a really good scene.
Yes.
And you know what's cool about that? In retrospect, I think he realizes at that point, it's like, shit, if I don't do it first, they're going to realize June's bracelet is not 6. So I have to rush in there to cancel her out.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting. I agree.
You get Clover. I like Clover. She's kind of a psycho girl. She's kind of really mean to Seven. But like
at the same time, like once you like explain about what happens between Clover and Snake, you kind of understand where she's coming from.
Yeah.
It's like she causes a lot of deaths in the bad endings.
Yeah. But we'll forgive her for that.
Yeah, but like I think she's the one that like I was just kind of like, okay, I feel like the most empathy for you in this entire run of stuff because literally you are in this thing again, and your brother gets murdered during it.
You get Junpei, number 5. You got anything for Clover?
Junpei's fucking cool because like for the majority of the game, he just kind of acts how you would act because you're controlling him.
But he's funny. And I think he's funny all throughout, Yeah,
and he's funny. What's really fucking cool though is sometimes you'll choose a dialogue choice and Junpei will just fucking go ham.
Yeah, I was surprised at how naughty Junpei gets in certain like decisions.
Yeah.
He's like,
naughty boy.
Junpei, you're cheating the system right now.
That door 3, when you click that door 3 and he like tricks everyone with all of that, I was like, whoa, Jesus.
And then he does the paper one too, which is really cool. Let's skip Akane. You got 7. I love 7. I think he's like why would you not like 7? I think he's a pretty solid character.
He just has amnesia most of the time, and you don't really spend a lot with him either until the true ending.
I feel like you do. Like there's a lot of times I felt like we spent.
Well, I guess if you go down toward 2, that's also where you see it. So I guess a little bit more than like I think the one you spend most time with is Lotus, depending on which way you go.
Yeah, finally Lotus is an interesting character because, and I noticed this, they have Ace's sacrifice in the same part where Lotus is talking, like she's giving you the harsh reality that not all of you are going to make it because the number 9 guy died. There is no way, and also they didn't know there was 2 9 doors. There's no way that everyone can make it. So they make you hate Lotus while also making you love Ace just to kind of like build up for that twist, so you're like suspecting Lotus and you don't like her, and you're like, oh, but Ace is such a sweetheart, and then he's not.
I think it's also interesting because she's the most detached from the original Nonary game. She has kids that were in it, but like compared to everyone else, because 7 was there, Clover and Snake were there. There's Ace, who's just the bad guy. Number 9 we learn more about, but she's the one that's like the most kind of separated from it. Junpei has to just be there to make everything work.
Yeah. You got anything? Bradley, you said you ended up liking Lotus quite a bit by the end.
Yeah, because like I think initially at the very, very beginning, she was my least favorite because I was like, okay, wow, you're kind of a dick. And then like everyone else is like, well, we only have 9 hours, we need to get going. And she's like, no, I'm not going to play. But then by the end, I think we had spent a lot of time with her just because I think like you guys said, I think most of your options actually kind of ended up including her.
Yeah.
And like as far as room choices, and then I don't know. Whenever you're in a room with her, she's usually clutch as hell. So I don't know.
There's an entire room where you couldn't get past unless you literally had Lotus because she hacks the system.
Yeah, dog.
I'll circle back to like every character's like nerdy obsession later, but we can get to like the real meat of the game, which is morphogenetic fields. So each time you go in a room, don't you groan at me, Joe. Morphogenetic fields are tight. Each time you go in a room, one of the characters are gonna spill some some pseudoscience bullshit at you, and I love it. I love it when they do that. Like it's always like, man, this is really interesting. Most of the time they're like based on true or like either something cult or something true, but then like they're twisting it to give it like a telepathy angle. And the big drawing one is in this game. There are psychics, and if they go through enough stress, they can communicate with each other. And it's a natural phenomenon that occurs in a field beyond human understanding, right? And in organic objects can also communicate through this field. And when Bradley realizes, you go through this ending and you learn this code to a safe, but that ending leads to a dead end. It's an ending where time runs out, Akane dies, and you're just left for nothing, right? So when you go back to the true ending, there is no way that you would know that code to the safe. But you, the player, knows the code to the safe. So you put it in, and me and Bradley were kind of how does he remember this again? And I try to hand wave it, and we just move on. And then Junpei drops the line. It's why did I know that sequence of button presses and the code to the safe?
And I fell on the floor.
And as soon as he dropped that line, the whole game clicked for Bradley. Everything was setting
throughout
up.
the game, whenever you are getting those kind of pseudoscience, morphogenetic field stuff, like on a base level, it's just okay, yeah. I mean, it's cool, and you kind of assume okay, I'm sure this is going to be relevant at some point, and at the very least, it could flesh out the characters a little bit. And then you kind of get to the point where it's you know what? Bringing up the idea of morphogenetic fields is really cool for this genre, or more specifically for these escape rooms, because it kind of ties in with the idea that, you're working really hard on a puzzle and the idea suddenly pops in your head.
Yeah.
So it's cool that the characters talk about that because, it kind of plays into what you're feeling in real life. And I was oh, that's why they're talking about morphogenetic fields. That's why they're including these talks. But then you get to the true ending, and I'm oh my god, this is actually the core of the plot, and they just masterfully tied it into the genre of a game.
The twist that the whole story is Akane projecting through the field, through the future, to set up the scenario that will save her in the past. It's a little. It leads to a couple of weird, plot holy things potentially, because why did Akane care so much about Ace when he was sedating himself? Because she knows who the fuck Ace is, and so did Santa. So they should not be that worried about Ace because he's a horrible human being that they hate. And two, the whole 7 and 7 smiles. The more you think about that, the less it makes sense. Those are my two big critiques with the story, and they're kind of hand waved with future, because the story involves time travel basically, or a form of it, or someone looking to the future more
future. It's that. You have a Dr. Manhattan scenario, literally at the end of the game, where you are experiencing the past and the present and the future all at the same time.
Yeah. Which is a really cool scenario. But then if they cut out that 7 line, I'd have very little to complain about the story.
Yeah, what makes it also good about the game is that when you go through, so when you look at the game, there's a tree you can see.
Fun fact, Joe, that tree doesn't exist in the DS version, so you're not.
It doesn't.
You don't even get that concept of the tree until they drop it on you.
Oh man, I feel it takes a huge portion out of the game, because there's a line that it's Akane or the narrator says where if you look at the flow of information, there's a diverging point for it, a river. And the thing about Akane is that she can pull from each break of the river. So it's the tree that you're experiencing is that she can pull from each branch of the tree that you've gone
to. Junpei, yeah.
Right, and then you're able to hop around to figure out information. And so if you go down a route and you miss the sequence of events you need to do to unlock an ending, you can just jump right back through it, jump to where you need to be, do it, and then you immediately jump out again and you can go back to where you were.
They added that tree because Virtue's Last Reward starts with the tree, and they re-released. So because this was a DS game, they remade it for PC,
PlayStation,
consoles,
computer,
and shit like that.
Yeah.
So they retroactively added that. Also for Ys, because you'd have to play through the game again and fast forward and go through those trees.
Yeah.
This game, I realized, you can just click around and change your path.
So when I beat the first time, I was okay, cool. And then I did literally a whole run again to get to the next next ending, and then I realized I could literally just go back to where I need to go and then branch off from there, and it's not gonna mess with anything or whatever.
Right on.
Which I really, really liked. But then that kind of gets to the point where it's I can just, with which is good and bad, because it basically just means you have to beat the game once or like 2 or 3 times maybe, and then you can just actually get to the true ending, which is really nice, and because you're not slogging through that game over and over and over again. It's like, I know what the beginning room is like, just let me out of here.
Yeah, that'd be a pain.
Yeah.
It also, because of that, it changed the last puzzle.
Yeah, they did, because I was reading up on that because I'm at that point I was just like, I'm done with this. I want to finish this game.
The original puzzle is like a Sudoku puzzle on multiple screens, like you're using the DS
it's
screen.
an upside down Sudoku puzzle, so you have to turn your DS upside down to do it.
That's fucking sick.
And that's just like not just playing into their fucking genre, but also like the fucking hardware, which is so cool. It's like that reminds me of The World Ends With You. It's like, what can we do on this device that we wouldn't be able to do on
blow into the microphone to create a tornado? Hell yeah.
Oh fuck.
Cool.
By the way, y'all, it was the biggest surprise of this game for me was that such a like bleak and dark game for so long of it had like the most wholesome fucking ending ever. I was tearing up. I was like, I thought this was such a beautiful love story.
We didn't talk about Akane, and now we can wrap up by talking about her. Bradley really loved Akane. I like her enough. I feel like Joe didn't like her.
Oh, dude, I adored this girl. She was so sweet, and there were multiple times where I was like, Willer, if she's a bad guy, I'm gonna be very fucking upset. And there was like, it was funny. So the route where you go into, is it door 2 with 7 and Lotus?
Yeah, with the submarine ending.
Yeah, whenever you come out of there and you see everyone's dead except for June.
It's so fun.
Willer looked over at me and I was like, okay, well, hold on. I was like, we don't know that Guy X was actually dead. Maybe he did it.
Yeah, maybe Guy X pieced himself back together and killed him. Did you catch Joe? You did that one first. That was Ace that did it. He was playing dead.
Yeah.
Then he does it.
He doesn't have blood underneath of him.
That's true too. The rough part about like the Akane situation is that I can't confidently say if she is a villain or because like it's left in a way where it's like she had no choice but to do everything she did.
Yeah, but at the same time, like technically speaking, the game was never rigged to actually kill anybody.
Except the people that they were taking revenge on, but they use like
they didn't have to die.
Japanese writing style of like, oh, we didn't kill them, Ace killed them.
Yeah,
it's like, but you killed them.
But you put the bombs in them, and you just or whatever you want.
You know, I hope
something else. Willer and I were sitting there during the credits, and we had discussed so much of the game, and I was sitting there, I was like, man, everything about this game is fucking fantastic. I just have one fucking problem. I was like, this whole game, they were talking about this almond rock.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, I guess that was like a red herring. I don't know. I thought it was going to be more important than it was. And right around the time I was saying that, the credits ended. And it shows them waving at like this fucking Egyptian bitch. And I'm like,
find out more in Virtue's Last Reward.
It's not her.
I'm glad you like happy endings, and you should hold on to that feeling.
Oh man, that was just I was tearing up so hard. It was such a beautiful ending.
The endings for that game, if you don't get the true ending, are just kind of like so weighty on you because you're just like, fuck.
It was all for naught.
Type as fuck.
Yeah.
When Willer and I got our first ending, and I guess they probably do this anytime you get your first ending. It says the end, and then it plays like a trailer showing glimpses of all the other routes, and I was like,
and the trailer focuses on the safe because like you got to find that safe. That's important.
So it's like you really are just getting started.
Mm-hmm.
Tyler, what were you gonna say? What are your thoughts?
I was gonna say. I hope anyone who's listening to this segment has like played this game.
We said spoilers at the beginning.
No, not just spoilers, but like so they can follow along. Because I'm sitting here listening, and they're like, "Oh yeah, like that one time she went through door 9." I'm like, "Door 9, door 3, submarine. What the fuck?"
I told you in the beginning. There's 9 doors.
9
You gotta
doors.
go through the door.
What is this? Like, are they in a mansion? Are they
No,
in like
they're
They're in a
Yeah.
sinking ship. It's the first thing I said. You never listen.
Or are they?
But like, where in the ship are they? Are they on like the deck? Are they in
It's,
like?
okay. They are on the sister ship of the Titanic called the Gigantic. So it's an old ocean cruise liner.
And they're going through multiple decks. The flooding of the ship is controlled. So in 9 hours,
the ship is flooding.
yes,
Yes.
that's why they have 9 hours, because in 9 hours the controlled flooding will just go through and kill everybody.
Yeah.
So it's like that episode of Rick and Morty where they like simulate the Titanic sinking.
Yeah, it's like that.
I haven't seen
Except-
that one. Except there's morphogenetic fields, but there's probably those
Yeah.
in Rick and Morty too. What else, Tyler?
Oh.
What else has got you stumped?
Oh, I forgot. One last thing I want to say about it that I probably should have said earlier when we were actually talking about this. But one thing I brought up to Willer is like, so, you know, this game kind of played into the fact that it has multiple routes and, you know, used that in the plot of the game. And there's a lot of other games that do this where they're like self-aware it's a game. Like, you know, there's fucking like Doki Doki Literature Club and Undertale and shit. But one thing I really liked about the execution of this is that, you know, I really like those other two games. I really do. I fucking love Undertale, actually. But I don't like how in your face they are about, like, oh, I messed with your save file. Like, they'll actually, I don't know.
Wink.
I really like that this game never drops the guise of its universe. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't have to do that shit. I don't know. I
Well,
really like
because-
the
And like
presentation of it.
any fourth wall breaking context is purely like thematic, or like because you're like, oh,
it's contextual within what's
it's
happening.
because you're like, oh, I helped Junpei get out of that room, but they're not ever like, hey, you player, you helped me. It's kind of like you can
Yeah,
draw that
because-
connection if you want to, but it's not necessarily a true connection, but it fits thematically. Well,
Yeah, because-
yeah.
Technically, in the game, you're playing as Kane, who's sending the messages to Junpei.
Yeah.
Which is fucking cool.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of how that works, and I agree with Bradley. I'm glad that it wasn't tongue in cheek about it. It kind of kept its serious tone, quote unquote, throughout the entirety of it, and was just like, no, this is what this is like. It's kind of like in Phoenix Wright when you have to interrogate Parrot. It's like that's just what the game is.
We're
Just
taking
keep going.
We're playing this seriously.
Yeah. 999. Like I said, 3 out of 5. Just purely because it wasn't exactly the story that I entirely enjoyed. But I think if you like visual novel games, you should 100% pick it up.
Or if you
I
like
think-
good mysteries. But
Yeah.
if you got to this point, there is no mystery left for you, sir.
No.
Good day, sir.
It is 999 out of 5. Everybody buy Toriko.
I so look forward to Virtue's Last Reward has the most memorable plot twist of anything I've ever played. And then there's
Goddamn.
the third game, Zero Time Dilemma, which is like we do talk about. There's some good stuff in there, but that game is comically underneath the other two. It's like an enjoyable ride, but if you think about it too hard, you're like,
There's
I
a
don't
reason
know
why
about
it's
it.
not in this collection.
Yeah. Well, the reason is because it came out for consoles initially.
Oh, did it? Okay.
Yeah, it's fine. I
Wait,
had
so
it.
is Virtue's Last Reward also on a handheld?
That
Yeah, it
one
was
was
on
on 3DS and PS Vita.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Alrighty.
Yes.
Wait, I have something.
What you-
I'm gonna pitch an idea fresh right here, and it's like something we do often with each other. Is for anyone like listening is like a game bounty. So like we play a lot of obscure games like 999. And like we could put a bounty out on. We may play this game soon. For example,
What is that? You're
I was
cutting
like,
out.
I would like to play
Tyler,
Killer 7.
Tyler, you're dying.
Oh. Am I dying? Hello?
Hello. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Bounty game. What are you talking about?
So like, I think it would be cool. Like
I think it would
like
be cool.
999. Like we can have like prepare people as well. Like if they want to go try it or something, or like they want to emulate 999, like and then hear what we thought about it. So like I pitched to Willer. I would like to try out like Killer 7 together.
Okay.
So
Okay,
if
I
you've
see. And
So if you've experienced Killer 7, or like have any thoughts about it as is like you currently it out in like Dolphin Emulator, because it's an old GameCube game. It is a very obscure rail shooter made by the same developers who made No More Heroes, guys that you may know.
51.
So like
You were okay.
we're
So
gonna talk about that in the future.
Stop.
To summarize, okay. Here's what I gathered. You were cutting out the whole time, but here it is. Here's what I gathered with my morphogenetic fields. We're going to be playing Killer 7, and we're putting a bounty out if you want to play it with us, or if you've already played it and you want to discuss it in some way, in a upcoming podcast. Not anytime soon necessarily, but in the foreseeable future, I'm gonna play Killer 7 with Tyler. Is that correct, Tyler?
Yeah, like, you know, and then we're also gonna play Bravely Default.
You don't get to say that to me. All right. Thank you for joining us. Catch y'all next time. Have a wonderful
Is that it? That's all we're gonna talk about?
That's it.
Okay.